Okay, we are the Open Space Committee meeting, and we are, it's November 12th, 2024, and it is 2:05 PM. We're being videoed, and we reviewed the minutes from the October 8th meeting. Any changes? No?
Make a motion to accept the minutes of October 8th.
Yeah, okay. So moved. I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Great. That was the, which one was that? October 8th. Okay. Would we also like to go through the minutes from the November 7th Open Space Community Preservation Act Committee? Is everybody, any corrections? Or you want to read them over first? Probably read them over first. Yeah, Becky, you weren't even there, so,
I wasn't either, so.
I move
Oh.
to accept them as written.
okay. All in favor?
I second.
Oh, second?
You second?
I second.
Okay.
I second. All in favor? Dick? Aye? You were there?
There's Lisa.
Okay. Hi. We just accepted the minutes, so.
Just leave the seat for you, Lisa.
Thank you, Dick.
Do you have agenda, or do you need an agenda?
No, I need one, and I'm just going to make a copy.
Turn these all in. All right, we were talking last time about signs for the Keven property.
Kevin or Leon?
Yeah, both.
Yep.
And we thought, well, the conservation doesn't have any money for it. We get $100 a year, and we could probably do it ourselves, right? Like you did in Worcester. I have a big garage, perfect place for it if we wanted to set up. We need pressure-treated wood and saws, which I have, and a router. Paint them brown, and then white lettering, like stay with the usual. So, you know anyone with routers? No. So maybe we could spend our $100 on routers, on a router.
Well, we don't really need a router. We can paint them.
Looks nice. There's some lumber that DCR has been using now. It's like a plastic type thing.
Yeah.
Where the inside's white and the outside's brown, so when you router it, it cuts through to the white, and there you go. And I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I guess it is more permanent, and the legs can be like wood, but,
Oh, yeah, your typical 4x4 post.
Yeah, 4x4.
But
okay.
Oh, I got a post hole digger.
I have a router, but I don't have the stuff for cutting stencils for doing
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
letters.
we did in Greater West Land Trust, we had a stencil of carbon, piece of carbon paper, and a hand-drawn sign, and we put it down, and we did that.
Rub on it, yeah.
And then the router would just follow the,
Mhm.
but the person that does that, that's all she did, so she got used to it.
Very good at it. I've never done lettering, so.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a little one for Leroy lettering for maps. But, yeah. All right.
I'm sorry, are we looking for a sign vendor?
No, we were saying, you know, we could make the signs ourselves.
for,
Conservation properties.
no, I disagree. The other conservation properties have, the state-made signs, but these need professional signs. And we should go to town meeting if we need to for an appropriate budget. Everybody else is getting stuff.
Yeah.
We need some too.
I suppose we don't need to.
Who's everybody?
Don't get me started.
I just want to understand.
Look at the town meeting warrant when you get it.
Okay. I'm gonna,
I mean, we need to advocate for materials that we need, and I think the sign needs to be professional looking, so.
Right, no, I have
They've
nothing
waited
against
long
someone
enough.
else doing it. We don't need to put the work in. Yep. All right.
I might have a sign vendor in Milford we could check on.
You're just trying to make a sign holder? Is that what you're trying to do?
The big signs at the conservation properties, Maryland, Doobie Conservation Area or whatever. A lot of them, maybe 2 or 3 have them, but, the rest don't.
Right.
So you don't even know where they are. Not only is there no parking, but there's no signs to show. So we want to make them apparent with signs and parking
Okay.
in the future, so that's why.
So can we take these corrugated plastic signs that we had and get larger versions of them? And just,
Those
I
won't-
don't think they'll hold
They
up
won't
for
last.
years.
you
those
don't
will-
think they'll hold up?
No,
no.
I know they won't.
We want something sturdy that'll be there forever. Longer the better.
Well, are we talking hold up in terms of the printing, or are we talking physical hold up?
Both.
Both?
Yeah, the ones the ones that the state has that makes them, they're big, thick,
Pieces of lumber.
2x8s or whatever with all the information carved into it and painted and stuck in the ground with something sturdy and everything. That would be like putting a pin on a, big old root, it's just, it doesn't match like the need for it to me, I think.
Is there money we could get from the state?
No, it's municipal.
Yep.
They won't mix.
They make the signs? No?
They used to.
Oh.
I don't know, do they still have a woodworking shop? I have to go, I haven't been up there.
Yeah, we talked about Blackstone Valley Tech too, but
I know somebody's making the signs. I don't know where they're being made.
Clinton?
I'd have to talk to Joe.
You want to try that, and I'll try this Milford sign maker, and I was going to see if I had pictures of
Yeah.
anything, but
yeah. There's a lot more people in that area though. I mean, who are the volunteers? It's going to be just us making them,
Well,
so.
again, I heard several people on Facebook that said, we need to do this ourselves. We need volunteers to do this. We can't have our town. I said, great. You're going to volunteer.
Yeah, and where are they when you want them? Yeah.
I'll show them the post.
All right, so we need to come up with a budget for signs for the town meeting.
And include the ones that suggested that we came up with for
Keevan,
the Mazinski one, too.
right.
oh, those other signs, you mean like
Yeah.
Yeah.
The arrows and stuff like that.
Parking, yeah.
Right.
I definitely know that the Milford signs they could probably do those. I just don't know about the bigger. But I'll find out.
So we need a sign list.
Yeah. Okay, so,
Not knowing what I'm talking about, physical, other words don't count. But I have a workshop to build almost anything we want.
What is it called? Do you have, it's like a wood
A router?
router. Do you have a router?
I have a router, but you don't want to do that. As you're going routing, the wood will be soft in some areas, hard areas, and the router wants to follow the soft stuff.
Oh.
So it
Well, that's how the other signs are are made.
Yeah. I suspect there are some people who are skilled in that area, but I'm not one of them.
Well, as you were saying, Becky, the plastic ones would be uniform pressure, but,
We have homework.
well, if we don't get it from the town, then maybe we will make them. But, yeah. All right. That's a good start. Any other thing on signs? Make a list or get that together for town meeting.
Well, we have, what we need is, we have this, the list that Becky
That I
put
had-
together,
Yeah, I just gotta pull it up.
and then we have, do we just need that front sign for the Keven? Well, maybe that's the next discussion, or do we need more? And then if we could bundle it all together and have one vendor, then we could get an estimate of what we need for the signs in total, so that,
Look at all the conservation areas too, not just
Right.
those two.
and then next year we can, or whatever, we can get them installed.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Yeah. Move on with the signs. We'll get it up there before Elaine Keevan, who gave us land, is still around. All right. And Andy is coming to the Keevan property on Friday, I believe, the 15th, to do the survey, whatever.
No, Friday is, we'll have the plan.
Oh, he's already been there?
Yes.
Oh,
That's what I was looking, I'm like, I have no idea what that was all about.
yeah, so
Yeah,
he
he was
was,
out there week before last or something or other like that.
okay, that's
And so,
okay.
yeah, I sent
thought
him an
that-
email and asked him progress report, and he said, you'll have the plan Friday.
Okay,
So,
This Friday.
this Friday.
all right.
So he's just emailing that? Or is he physically delivering a plan?
That I don't know.
Okay.
He didn't say. I can ask.
It'd be nice to have a paper copy. I like paper.
Send him an email when I get home today.
Okay, great.
But, so, we're almost there.
Yeah, we can look at it at the next meeting. and
Progress.
Yes.
All right, and I did get a chapter land that passed through on U Street that is going to be, continue to be in chapter land, so we don't have to look at it.
So there was an affidavit filed.
This, I don't know. Yep. Upon receipt and review of this notice, which includes a signed affidavit from the purchaser stating that the intention is to keep the land in Chapter 61.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, yep. Okay, Conservation Drive property updates and connections. Have you heard anything?
So the Conservation Drive property situation is ongoing, and you might remember that the gentleman, so we took a site walk, gentleman wants to donate the land to the town. And from our perspective, we want to keep that property in chapter, just a second, I'll do it. Chapter 97 for conservation, or chapter for open space. But that's the purpose of the land as we understand it. So after a couple back and forths, I think where we are at the moment is that there's a bit of a glitch in that the state has a program called the Conservation Land Tax Credit. Conservation Land Tax Credit, whereby an owner can want to donate or sell, bargain sale property to a charity or municipality and get up to $75,000 in tax credit. But the program that's run by the Commonwealth is maxed out through at least next year, because legislature is not expanding the very popular program so that more people can participate. There are 2 or 3 phases to the program, and it takes a lot of time and energy to apply. Once you're accepted, they put you in the queue, but in order to finish your application, you have to submit a current appraisal. So when I mentioned that we want to keep it in conservation and the gentleman wants to get a tax credit, that sort of got melded together into fill out this application form for the state program. But the gentleman wants to basically conclude the donation by the end of the year. So if you look at this, which was, I believe, was forwarded by our treasurer, under purpose, let's see, 4th one down is conservation open space, and it gives you statutory authority, blah, blah, blah. So I think this is really good for all of us to have. And then it says city council town meeting vote. This is not required for purchase or gift. And I haven't explored the citations, but the Conservation Commission can accept it with the authorization of the Board of Selectmen. So I'm working with the owner to try to facilitate this situation so that the owner, he's already had an appraisal. So he only needs to get the Selectmen and the Conservation Commission to accept it, and then he can take a charitable donation on his taxes. He does not have to necessarily go through this other state program. Unless, of course, he wants to. But I've just been trying to explain that going through that program will not get you finished probably by the end of this year.
So it's his choice.
Correct. But I'm trying to,
Move it along, huh?
yeah, nobody wants to, nobody wants to pick up the phone and have a conversation so we can get clarity. But his concern is that the deed is correct, so part of the, if you see on the other page, there's a municipal real estate purchase gift checklist. And if you look at that, the seller or donor needs to provide a draft deed for the property, it's like in the middle of the page, for town council to review. Because we don't want, I mean, the whole purpose of us having the site walk and recommending that we accept this donation is to keep it as open space. So we don't want it just municipal ownership. Because then who knows what will happen to it.
Right?
Right. So with that, everybody
Yep, that's
Could
good
keep
to have
this.
this, yep.
refer to this. I mean, there are other probably tweaks or something that the town might have, or the Board of Selectmen might have in dealing with real property, et cetera, but this at least gives us some guideline
Right.
moving forward. So hopefully in the next 6 weeks, we can tie this up and,
Excellent.
All right, great. And then we can see where it connects to and, see, we like to do, Dick, we'd like to connect different properties together, make like a greenway for the critters and campers and hikers and whatnot. All right. Yeah, I don't know that there's any, next one, 7, anything going on up there at the Sutton Douglas LLC. I go by every once in a while to the entrance road, and there's nothing happening.
Did we determine that that was signed over to the town? It was? Okay, I couldn't remember.
but
The piece of land,
I
Sutton.
understand, yeah, but I think they're doing this in phases, and they're not supposed to start until next year, phase one maybe, so,
Yep.
but I do believe it's been deeded to the town.
So we can see how that connects into. Yeah, I'm glad I put this next one on there. I was like, oh, we need to mention that. Master plan workshop, Thursday night, this Thursday night from 5:30 to 8. I guess we are requested to attend, whoever can man a table, right?
I've already,
You've got,
I'm the rep on the master plan committee,
Okay.
so
Yep.
I've got the table.
okay,
But I welcome any help.
all right. Anybody?
I was going to stop in just to stop in as a citizen.
And you should do that. All citizens should.
Yeah, just for general interest, yeah. Yeah, I'll stop by and I'll
Just
bring
work.
the open space and recreation plan, so you can have it at the table.
Cool, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll do it right at the beginning.
They're gonna have all our maps from that.
They're in the,
The consultant.
Oh, yeah?
And they're gonna have big posters with the maps on
oh,
them.
good.
They're gonna be putting pins up where they think things should happen.
We bring our spray by. Interesting. Well, that's good. How many tables are there going to be?
There's 9 tables, I think. There's one for each chapter, and I can't list all the chapters.
Library's going to have a table too, I think. That's what, I was just there.
And pizza.
Gluten-free?
No, but lactose-free, there's gonna be a lactose-free one.
Oh, good. Damn them.
You should call and ask them.
No, I'm kidding. No. All right, good. Well, that's a step in the right direction. And when was the last master plan? Was the 80s? No,
Yeah, it was more than 10 years ago.
no, that was more than 30
More than
years ago.
20.
20
It's supposed to be every 20, but
Yeah, really. All right, great. Yep, and we discussed before, I guess the Conservation Commission would like to work with us but have no money, so.
Okay, wait.
Yeah. They could ask for money at town meeting, just like we do, right?
No, but we can try to facilitate more conversation between departments or boards, and like, how can we solve this Keven sign issue and different things like that? And how can we work closer together so if something interesting comes up at conservation, we help them secure the property and things like that? But also, they also need to advocate for more money. Because these are great properties, and like you said, Sue, if nobody knows they're there,
Right.
Yeah.
but they should have some signage that's standardized, right? So everybody knows that's a conservation property.
Do they not have a budget now? Don't they have like $500?
There's some, I don't know, they do, I think, but then there's some confusion about what they can use fees for.
Right.
And things like that, so it's, there's a big conference every year at Holy Cross for Massachusetts Conservation Commissions, and there was some question about whether they could get reimbursed for the fees for the conference. It's like, of course you should be. That's, how else are they learning what's going on?
Right.
So,
They should advocate for a bigger budget, huh?
yeah, but so should we. I mean,
Yeah. You just have to earmark things like we did with the $5,000 for Andy, for Keven, yeah.
well, you have to think at least a year in advance, because with that, we needed to find a consultant,
Yep.
but we found, and then it's a certain level of funds that have to be, then you
Right, we
need
had
to
a
get.
ceiling there.
Right, you need to get multiple bids, so you have to have a scope. I mean, there's a whole process, and then there's basically 2 opportunities a year to pursue that funding. And if you don't make those windows, you get set back further and further.
And plus, we don't know, looking at that plan, that could start giving us phases to start working on that property too, so there's another.
Right. So we should be looking at that,
For the
For
next town
May.
meeting, yep.
and then, but to get on the warrant and all, or into the budget cycle, they start in what, February or something, so you really have to think far in advance.
And I don't know, something like with the, getting work on the Keven property, a grant, one of the grants, since we have the open space and recreation plan, might work for that. But it would all depend on what the match is going to be on it,
Right,
so.
yeah. And most of the matches are at least 50%. Okay.
So we should be looking for a grant to follow up on the Keven recommendations.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea to research it.
Because all of a sudden they're there, and it's like they come up and they're done in a week or
Well, there's
whatever.
a bunch of things that can be done if you had your open space and recreation plan under the state. So I'd have to go back and look at that list.
But once we see Andy's
Recommendation.
plan, the concept and everything, maybe it's a great idea to go to one of the next Conservation Commission meetings and say, we want to share this with you. This is where we're going. Foster that conversation so that they can also understand that they're being supported as well.
Yep. Yeah, and then they'll get an idea of what they need to do more, perhaps. All right. Anything else before Gordon falls asleep? That's fresh air, yeah.
Lots of fresh air.
Just, I know ages ago, the property behind the schools, we were trying to figure out who had quote-unquote jurisdiction.
I remember that.
And if I remember correctly, I think it ended up being quote-unquote under the school board committee. So I would like to, under two different hats, for the open space and also for Bay State, because we've just about finished up everything on that property. The only thing we have left to do is, the bridges are in, they're all set. Of course, I do have to go to Conservation Commission to get the order of conditions, get that done, but,
And it abuts that property.
correct. So it can go from the railroad bed through our property to town property. So there are some down the lower section where they don't have their cross-country track course. There needs to be some work done on the trails down there, because I noticed some trees were down, and the trimming needs to be trimmed up a little bit higher. I'd like to have an official opening. It may be a hike, but I would like to get in touch with the school board committee, talk with them about working on those trails on their property, and that would give them the opportunity, if they want to change the cross-country course, they could
Pick up our
come
trail.
out that way, too.
Watch out for the piles of horse. It's
It's
planned obstacles.
cross-country.
Right.
That's why it's called cross-country.
Yeah. Couple of hurdles. But yeah, no, that's great. So we could maybe write a letter to the school board.
I have to look to see what's on, I'd like to get it on their agenda and attend one of their meetings.
Yep, that sounds great, and we can come and support you or whatever.
So maybe send them a short summary, so they're not completely, start from zero, and send them a
Right.
short summary, and
Yep.
then,
Of what the past was, discussions and walks, and then what's developed since then, yeah. All right. Well, I guess we should have a meeting in December 10th, 2024, just to see, follow up on Andy and maybe conservation and things. I mean, this was the big year for grants and things, but the year has swung by. The Reduction Act there, but we were busy. Let me see if I put down.
Well, I'm just going to suggest, if we get the plan on Friday, does it make sense to have a meeting in 2 weeks and then maybe not have to meet on the 10th?
That sounds good.
I'm just
Yeah.
throwing that out there, because that way we
It rings
can,
along.
and maybe if there's action to be taken, we can get started on it sooner.
Okay.
Or at least started to think about it, so.
And then you can tell us if you need any assistance with, like going to the school committee or anything like that.
All right.
I'll have to track down who's on the school committee that I got to get in touch with. I have no idea.
I would just go to the superintendent's office, directly to the superintendent's office, and ask for guidance on how to deal with
Yeah. Who do I talk to?
go before the school committee.
I mean, we have the names of people that we've talked to in the past, probably,
I don't
whether they're still there or not. I might,
remember.
yeah.
call superintendent, so.
So you think that November 26th is 2 weeks?
That'd be fine with me.
Me too.
And then we can meet next year.
No, I mean, maybe we
Yeah.
need both, but I'm
Yeah.
just, if the plan's available, let's look at it and figure out what's next, so we're not,
Right, because who
Scrambling.
knows what the weather is going to be like. We could get a head start on it. The brook's dried up,
everything's dried up.
probably. Tinkerville isn't dried up. I go on Walnut Street every once in a while. All right, anything else anybody wants to add? I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.